It's meme time, it's meme time. Gather all your friends, it's meme time. It's meme time, it's meme time. The only cure for sadness.
Summit War Saga, Sabaody Archipelago Arc. After several days of traversing the dangers and wonders of the Grand Line, the Straw Hats became overjoyed when they finally reached the Red Line. Luffy, Robin, and Brook attempted to get down to Fishman Island in the Shark Submerged III, but the submarine couldn't go that far down and they were chased back up by a sea bunny. After returning to the Sunny, Luffy defeated the sea bunny with one punch, causing it to spit out a mermaid named Kami and a talking starfish named Papag onto the Sunny's deck. To thank Luffy for saving her, Kami offered the Straw Hats some takoyaki. Luffy examined her and Papag with great curiosity, not having realized he had already met a mermaid in Kokoro. He was eager to receive the takoyaki, but when Kami called her partner Hachan, she found out that he had been kidnapped by the Macro Pirates and the Flying Fish Riders. Nami volunteered the crew to rescue him, and Luffy instantly agreed when he heard about Hachan's takoyaki making skills. Kami called Fish to direct them towards the Flying Fish Riders' hideout, and Luffy learned that the group was one of the many kidnapping gangs around the Sabaody Archipelago, being led by Duval. Some Flying Fish Riders then arrived and started attacking the Sunny, but quickly retreated. The Sunny then reached the Flying Fish Riders' base, which appeared abandoned. The Straw Hats approached a cage containing Hachan, and Luffy and his first 4 crewmates recognized him, becoming hesitant to rescue him. However, when Kami and Papag went to save Hachan and were caught by the Macro Pirates, the Straw Hats decided to save Hachan as Luffy freed Kami and Papag from the Macro Pirates' grasp. The Flying Fish Riders then emerged from the ocean to attack, and Luffy hijacked one of the flying fish. However, the flying fish were then ordered to go underwater, forcing Luffy's crewmates to rescue him. One Flying Fish Rider charged towards the Sunny with a giant mace, and on Sanji's command, Luffy knocked out the fish while Sanji took down the rider, and Luffy put the fish on the deck to eat for dinner. Luffy watched as Brook put several more riders to sleep with his music and tried hijacking another flying fish, but ended up crashing into Duval's room. In the room, Luffy saw Duval without his mask on before Duval put it on and confronted him. Luffy was chased back outside by Duval and his bison Motobaro, and as Duval angrily confronted Sanji, Luffy hit his mask off to reveal that Duval's face resembled the one on Sanji's wanted poster. Duval had the Flying Fish Riders put a steel net around Sanji before throwing him into the sea, and Zoro had to hold Luffy back from jumping in after him. Luffy then watched in awe as Kami raced to save Sanji, and frankly blew apart the Flying Fish Rider's base with the Sunny's cannon. Duval then prepared to charge at Luffy with Motobaro, but with just a few words, Luffy managed to cause the bison to turn around and fall unconscious. Sanji then told Luffy to let him finish off Duval, and the former proceeded to do so. Afterwards, the Straw Hats gorged on takoyaki that Hachan, Kami, and Papag made for them, and Duval and the newly renamed Rosy Life Riders came to thank them for Sanji changing Duval's face to give him a new appearance. After the meal, Papag told the Straw Hats that they would need to give the Sunny a special coating to sail down to Fishman Island and into the New World, and they could get this at the Sabaody Archipelago. They soon reached Sabaody, and Luffy marveled at the bubbles coming out of the ground. Hachan said he would take the Straw Hats to a good coating mechanic, but insisted that they not defy any world nobles they encountered. Luffy, Chopper, and Brook went shopping with Kami, Papag, and Hachan, and eventually saw a slave attempting to run away. However, the collar around the slave's neck then exploded, and when his masters Saint Shalria and Saint Roseward came up to him, they shot him. This enraged Luffy, but Papag warned him that attacking a world noble would result in a marine admiral being summoned. Luffy's group was attacked by several bounty hunters, but he, Chopper, and Brook dispatched them with ease. They then arrived at Grove 13, where they entered Shaki's ripoff bar to find the coder. The owner, Shakyaku, knew who Luffy and his crewmates were and figured they had come to find Rele. She revealed that he had been away for 6 months, but said he'd like to go to the Sabaody amusement park, revealing there were 9 other pirates there with bounties over 100 million berries, including one man with a bounty higher than Luffy's. Luffy's group then headed to Sabaody Park, where they enjoyed the rides and attractions. However, Kami ended up being kidnapped by the Hound Pets while the rest of the group went to get ice cream, and Luffy, Papag, and Hachan ran off to find her. The 3 of them searched human shops looking to find Kami, and Papag and Hachan told Luffy about the discrimination fishmen and merfolk faced there. The Rosy Life Riders then came to pick them up to bring them to the human auctioning house, where Kami was being sold, and Luffy and his rider picked up Zoro on the way there. They end up crashing through the door right as Kami was being sold on stage, and Luffy rushed to her despite Hachan trying to hold him back. Luffy eventually got past Hachan but looked back and saw the fishman being shot by the world noble Saint Charlos. He then walked back up towards the two of them, and despite Hachan's pleas not to go against the world noble, Luffy went up to Charlos and punched him in the face, sending him crashing through several benches and knocking him unconscious. Luffy apologized for going against Hachan's orders, but his crew immediately joined him in attacking the guards and attempting to free Kami. During the chaos, Silver's Rayleigh came out from backstage and used Haoshoku Haki to knock out almost everyone, including all the guards and world nobles, and he had told Luffy he had been looking forward to meeting him. Rayleigh freed Kami of her slave collar and said he would talk with Luffy later, as the Marines had surrounded the auction house and Rayleigh had no intention of confronting them. The pirate, Useless Kid, told his fellow supernovas, Luffy and Trafalgar Law, that he and his crew would confront the Marines themselves, but the two of them immediately went out to join Kid. The Marines shot mortars at the three of them, but they each used their Devil Fruit powers to redirect the shots back at them. The Supernovas then went on the offensive and decided to meet back up in the New World as their crews joined them in decimating the Marines before heading off separately. The Straw Hats and their allies went to Rayleigh, where they parted ways with the Rosy Life Riders before going back to Shakti's bar. Rayleigh revealed that he was Gold D. Roger's first mate, and told the Straw Hats the truth about Roger's final voyage and execution. When Usopp asked Rayleigh about the One Piece, Luffy loudly stopped him, not wanting to have the treasure spoiled for him. Rayleigh liked Luffy's attitude and agreed to coat the Sunny for free, saying it would take him 3 days. The Straw Hats received a Viver card from Rayleigh to reunite with him at that time, and they headed out with the objective to survive the Marine onslaught until then. However, the Straw Hats were immediately confronted by a pacifista that they mistook for Bartholomew Kuma. The pacifista shot a beam at them, and after finding out who Kuma was and what he did on Thriller Bark, Luffy decided to go all out as he activated Gear 2. Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji performed some of the strongest attacks simultaneously on the pacifista, but only knocked it into a building without damaging it much. It soon got back up and overwhelmed Zoro, but the Straw Hats unleashed consecutive powerful attacks on it, ending with Luffy's Gomu Gomu no Gigant rifle, which successfully took it down. The Straw Hats tried to rest only to be immediately confronted by the Marine Science Unit Commander, Sentomaru, and another pacifista, PX-1. Since they were in no shape to continue fighting, Luffy decided to have the crew split up and run away, telling them to reunite at the Sunny in 3 days. Luffy ran off with Ramen and Chopper, but Sentomaru confronted them, and he used Busoshoku Haki in his palm strikes to hurt Luffy. Luffy then saw the Marine Admiral Kizaru attacking Zoro, but before Kizaru could finish Zoro off, Rayleigh came in and intercepted his attack. Luffy told Usopp and Brook to take Zoro and run away, knowing that all of them were too weak to beat the enemies in front of them. However, he watched as his crewmates were overwhelmed by PX-4 while he was slammed into the ground by Sentomaru. In the midst of this onslaught, the real Bartholomew Kuma appeared, and Luffy watched as he transported Zoro to another place. Sentomaru told Luffy what Kuma had done, and after Kuma transported PX-1 away as well, Luffy yelled at his crew again to run, as it was all they could do at this point. However, it was not enough as Kuma sent Brook, Usopp, and Sanji flying away as well. Kuma repelled an attack from Luffy before sending Frankie and Nami away, and Luffy was unable to do anything as the Shichibukai finished the job, making Chopper and Robin disappear. With everyone gone, Luffy started breaking down over his inability to save his crew, and Kuma told him that they would not see each other again as he sent Luffy away from Sabaody. Summoned War Saga, Amazon Lily Arc. Luffy was sent flying upon Kuma's touch, and flew for days until he landed on the island Amazon Lily. He decided to use Rayleigh's Viver card to head back to Sabaody, but collapsed after running into a cliff face and unsuccessfully trying to destroy it. After killing and eating a boar, Luffy found some mushrooms and ate those as well. However, he ate a body mushroom, which caused mushrooms to grow from his body and threaten his life. He was discovered by Marguerite, Sweet Pea, and Aphalandra, and they took him to the village. There, they burned the mushrooms off of Luffy and took him to the river to wash him. There, when Sweet Pea mistook Luffy's crotch for a mushroom, Elder Nyon revealed to the citizens, who were all females, that Luffy was a man. Luffy was put in a cell, and after waking up, he took back his straw hat from the Amazon Lily citizens as they ogled at him. They gave him some clothes, and when he reacted negatively to their feminine design, the women got angry and decided to execute him. Intent on returning to his crew, Luffy destroyed the roof of his cell with a kick and escaped. After being slammed to the ground by Aphalandra, Luffy realized he needed to recover Rayleigh's Viver card from his trousers. Upon seeing Marguerite with them, he grabbed her and scaled the cliff around the village, returning to the woods. Marguerite gave him the Viver card, and after Luffy revealed that he was a pirate, Marguerite told him about the Empress Boa Hancock, who is also a pirate. Marguerite helped Luffy remove the frills from his clothes, and he asked if she could give him a boat to leave, to which she replied that Amazon Lily was located in the Calm Belt. Luffy decided to build a raft, but it quickly fell apart. and after saving him, Marguerite decided to kill him to avoid becoming attached. Luffy dodged Marguerite's arrows, which possessed considerable power due to being imbued with Busoshoku Haki, and the latter's comrades arrived to reinforce her. Luffy managed to escape by climbing back up the mountain overlooking the village, and he decided to find an important person to help him by going to a tall building. He jumped onto the roof of Hancock's palace, but ended up breaking through it and falling into Hancock's bath, where he saw a mark on her back. Hancock's sisters, Boa Sandersonia and Boa Marigold, then came in, and the three of them said Luffy would have to die for seeing Hancock's back. Hancock attempted to turn Luffy to stone with her Mero Mero no Mi powers, which had no effect on Luffy as he mistook them for Foxy's Noro Noro beams. Luffy then jumped out of the palace but was shot by Hancock's kiss and was captured by the Kuja upon falling to the ground. Luffy was put into an arena and Hancock refused to believe his account of how he got to Amazon Lily. Marguerite, Sweet Pea, and Aphalandra then pleaded on Luffy's behalf, but Hancock turned them to stone. She then released the panther Bakura to attack Luffy, but Luffy defeated it with one punch. Luffy was enraged with the spectators for laughing at Hancock's actions towards Marguerite's group, being unaffected by Hancock's charms. Hancock then sent Sandersonia and Marigold to the ring to kill Luffy, and they used their devil fruit powers to transform into snakes. Luffy struggled against the two sisters as they dodged his attacks with Kenbunshuku Haki and hurt him with Busoshoku Haki, and they decided to punish him further to destroy the statues of Marguerite's group. Luffy desperately yelled at them to stop, which unbeknownst to him exerted Haoshoku Haki that stopped the Gorgon sisters in their tracks and knocked out several Kuja in the audience. Deciding to go all out, Luffy activated Gear 2 and its speed was enough to overwhelm Sandersonia's Kenbunshoku Haki as well as overpower Marigold's Busoshoku Haki. The Gorgon sisters then unleashed their ultimate attacks as Sandersonia turned her hair into Yamata no Orochi, and Marigold turned hers into flaming salamanders, but Luffy destroyed all of them with Gomu Gomu no Jet Gatling, and managed to tie the sisters' tails together, sending Sandersonia falling towards the spike pit around the arena. She grabbed the edges of the arena and Luffy realized that her clothes had been burned off, causing him to climb on her exposed back to cover the mark on it. After realizing what he had done, Hancock had the Kuja evacuate the arena. Hancock told Luffy that she would either return Marguerite's group to normal or give him a way to leave the island, and Luffy chose the former, becoming overjoyed when Marguerite was depetrified. Luffy was taken back to Hancock's palace, and inside a chamber, Hancock revealed that the mark on her back was the hoof of the soaring dragon, which signified that one was a slave of the world nobles. She revealed that she and her sisters were once slaves on Mary Joie before being freed, and the Kuja believed the marked spots to be cursed Gorgonized because of the mark's shame. Having taken a liking to Luffy after finding out that he had attacked the world noble, Hancock offered to take him wherever he wanted to go. After requesting to go to Sabari starting the next day, Luffy partied with the Kuja, but had to run away after they started wanting to touch him. He came to Elder Nyon, who revealed that Hancock was a member of the Shichibukai. Nyon then told him the news about Ace's imprisonment and impending execution, and a shocked Luffy decided to put his return to the crew on hold to save his brother. Nyon told him that it would take a week to reach Impel Down with a pirate ship, but a marine ship could get there in 4 days. This caused Luffy to request that Hancock accept the marine summons to come to Ace's execution, and Hancock, who unbeknownst to Luffy, was afflicted by love sickness for him, readily agreed. Luffy hid under Hancock's robes as she boarded the marine battleship and made arrangements to stop at Impel Down.
L is for lovers who love one another. A is for ass, of which I like to eat. U is for you're the only one for me. G is for